Hello, hello, it's Bernadette. Welcome. We're going to talk about the discomfort. Don't run from the discomfort today. If you've never watched me before, my name is Bernadette Gold, and I help people overcome their biggest obstacles so they can uplevel their lives, right? Your fears, your struggles, your blocks, all within the subconscious. I help you overcome that. And today I want to help you understand what's happening with the energy because it is off the charts and what the energy is trying to bring you toward. Like, what is it trying to help you with? What is going on? Because it does not and has not felt very good. So say hello if you're watching me so I can see you. Hi, Miss Ashley. How are you, darling? Good to see you. Even though I talked to you earlier, I didn't get to see you. So it's good to see you pop up here. You guys hear okay? My microphone's been kind of funky. Much better after we talked. Yay. Knock that ego off to the side. Get back on your horse. I love that. All right. So, how you guys doing? Let's just do a check-in. See how you riding things out. How you feeling? I know it's been an incredibly rough week. I'm trying to move my light so it's not like blasting me, but apparently I'm just going to have to deal with it shining in my eyeballs. So, yeah. Yes, ma'am, much needed talk. Charm Life talks are always the best talks. They always give us the most uplifting. Spirit jumps in and takes it away. Hi, Miss Cindy. Drinking lots of water lately. All right, so the reason I named this Don't Run from the Discomfort is because it is very uncomfortable, even for me. And I'm pretty good at writing energies. Like we are getting, so if you get, I'm going to explain what's happening energetically, what it's calling you forward, how it's affecting mental, emotional, physical, circumstantial, all the things that are making you feel uncomfortable and makes you want to hide under the covers and never come out. I get it. Right? I get it. But let me just say, StreamYard really needs to get the filters from Zoom because I don't have any makeup on. And I was actually going to go to bed. I just got done cooking, shopping, cooking. And I'm like, I'm going to go to bed. And Spirit said, no, you're going to go online. I'm like, oh, okay. To explain what's happening and to give you guys some guidance on what's going on with the energy, why it's here, what we're supposed to do with it. This is global. This energy is affecting everybody, whether they are conscious or not. If you are conscious, if meaning you have some ability to focus your thoughts and you are focused on growth, then you probably understand what's happening. And if you're in my group, Holistic Evolution, right? If you're not in that group, look it up on Facebook. You can find it super simple. It's a group of like-minded spiritual people that are committed to personal growth. Be your best self, right? So what does that have to do with what's happening, the up-leveling? Like, how many of you feel right now you are not satisfied with your circumstances? You are not satisfied with how you're showing up in the world. You know you're not at your best, and you know that you have so much more in you. If you are a high achiever, if you're an entrepreneur, if you are a spiritual practitioner, if you're just a mom, I say just a mom, that's like the best, most important, hardest job on the planet. Let's get real. I was a single mom, still a mom, not like I'm not, and I'm still single. However, my kids are grown. So yeah. Anyways, it's one of those nights. If you're feeling like, yeah, I've got to change something. For some of you, that means like you're unhappy with your diet. You're unhappy with your weight. One of the energy is so intense right now, and it has been intense for an entire week, and it's not going to let up. I'm just letting you know. Like I've been following all the solar flare activity, which hits the planet in such a way, and we're getting blasted right now, blasted with M-class solar flares. And there was a huge coronal mass ejection off the south rim of the sun yesterday. It's not Earth facing. Do I think that we're still going to feel some of it? Probably, but we are under solar flare, like heavy solar flare. What that means is we're getting an inordinate amount, an intense amount of solar radiation and electromagnetic energy from the sun. If you've followed my posts and you've seen me post the Schumann frequencies, why am I doing that? Because it's jumping. Like the normal Schumann frequency tends to go in line with the human brain waves of where we normally sit around 7.5 hertz. It jumped up to 84 on Sunday. I was like, what is happening? It was up to 40 yesterday. So what does that cause? We'll go through the symptoms first, and then I'll explain to you why it's happening and what you can do with it. Sound good? And there's a reason I'm asking you if you feel like something in your life needs to shift, it needs to change, you need to grow, you need to heal, you need to do something differently than what you've been doing. Some of us have been in a little bit of an energetic lull lately. And some of you are feeling so uncomfortable right now in your physical bodies, it's important that you understand why. Because I don't want people running to the doctor because things are wonky in their body. Doctors aren't going to be able to tell you. Now, if you're sick, obviously go to the doctor, right? Like you're having a heart attack, something like that. But there are symptoms that might mimic a heart attack. Doesn't mean you're having a heart attack right now. Cassandra's saying yes. Cindy, Ashley, cool. Thanks for sharing. I appreciate that because at least it means that, yeah, y'all are alive and you're listening. All right. So here's some of the things that's happening due to the high solar flares and the Schumann frequency jumping. Now, we have a lot of weather, and a lot of times the Schumann frequency will pick up lightning across the globe. Okay. And I follow the Tomsk, the one in Russia. But we've been getting waves, white flashes. You know, we have that crazy pattern that I did post on Facebook and I posted on Instagram. That was this beautiful geometric pattern. And then they tried to say, oh, no, it was a glitch. No computer glitch is going to make something that gorgeous and that beautiful. And it had a frequency to it that was just off the chart amazing. And that was the first time it's ever happened in the history of the Schumann. And I've been covering this stuff, like following this stuff for a very, very, very long time, years and years and years. Same with space weather and the solar flares and the solar wind and how it affects the body. So if you've been feeling extremely tired this week, it could be the Schumann frequencies. It could, and not just the frequencies, that's just measuring the energy that's hitting the earth right now. Anytime we have like a mass event, a mass casualty event, a mass event, and mass consciousness is affected during the George Floyd things, the Schumann spikes, right? It just does. Mass consciousness has an effect on the Earth's frequencies. And right now we're getting blasted from the sun, and it can make you feel tired. For 2 days now, I can't even keep track of the days. That's another one of these things that's happening as a result of all this energy. Is you can't keep track of time. Time is moving so fast right now. And this has been going on for the entirety of 2023, part of 2022. And we're just in the thick of it right now. Like we're in the messy middle of all of this energy, and it can feel overwhelming. For 2 days, I've had vertigo. I don't have vertigo. I have biomags, right? I'm a biomagnetic practitioner, and these magnets can help with the energetics of it. And I was able to calm it down. But then I finally, by the afternoon, it started to ramp back up as the energy started to ramp back up from the solar flares. And I knew, asked my body, what do you need right now? And I've been eating all plant-based, lots of fruits, lots of vegetables, no dairy, no gluten, no meat. Like my body's like, I need something heavy. I'm like, all right, let's anchor this one down. And so I like carb loaded up with some potatoes and heavier foods. And it finally let the vertigo release. And then I woke up this morning and had vertigo again, but it wasn't as bad as yesterday. So I was able to get through it. But the exhaustion yesterday was intense. Some people were having heart palpitations. They felt like they were having a heart attack. Some people that have like pacemakers and stuff like that are having malfunctions in their equipment. Some of you may be having computer issues because it does affect electronics. Anything electrical, when we get these big waves coming in of solar energy, electrical energy, it can mess with communications. It can mess with electronics. It can mess with your system altogether. You might have headaches. You might feel like body aches. Any of you have any of those symptoms, put it in the chat. I want to see how you're feeling. Some of you may have, in one way, be so tired, but in another way, start to ramp up and feel like you're anxious. And if you give it the label, I'm anxious, I'm having a panic attack, Now your body's just going to react that way because you're thinking that that's what it is, and your body will always obey your thoughts, whether or not you meant for it to happen. It's just the way the body works. The body's very tied to how you think. So I want to see what symptoms you guys are experiencing. Some of you may have felt nauseous. You may still be. Some of you may be getting flipping headaches. Like the headaches are real right now, right? Carrie G's saying, I've had vertigo for some time. So vertigo typically is caused, like they say, it's ear crystals. It can be, but that's not the only thing that causes vertigo. As a biomagnetic practitioner, I can tell you that there is an equilibrium problem. There's a hormone problem, and there's probably a virus or a bacteria that causes it. That's the normal when we're not under solar flare activity and this kind of heightened energy. That's the normal cause of it. But when you have a heightened amount of electrical energy, it can cause, if you live by a 5G tower, those frequencies themselves can cause vertigo, can cause dizziness. Seriously. Sky's body ache, says her lungs hurt, but no other symptoms. Yep. Have no energy, super tired. Yep. Very little sleep, awake at night. That's the other side of this. If it doesn't, like yesterday, in the middle of the afternoon, I think it was like 3 or 4 o'clock, I just felt like I couldn't even move my body. I felt like I was walking through mud. And I'm like, what is going on now? Like, what's happening? So I laid down for a little bit. I had some time between clients, took a little breather, and it was enough to get me through the evening, through my last client. Thankfully I work for myself. I can take those timeouts. And I talked to a couple of my clients. One of my clients was saying there's a bunch of accidents where she lives in another state. And it's like people are just tuned out. I went out on the road yesterday and was like, what in the hell? Like, people are zombies. And for people that are unconscious, they are in reaction mode with this energy every time we get hit by these waves. But instead of being sleepy, some people are just super amped up. And yesterday I was so tired, but then by last night, I could not sleep. I don't think I went to sleep until maybe 2 o'clock in the morning because I was like the energy was too erratic. Once I fell asleep, I slept fine. So insomnia is another thing that happens with this energy, even if you are physically tired. Some of you, if you have longstanding physical issues, old issues, they're coming to the surface right now. If you have unresolved emotional issues, mental issues, meaning you've got thoughts of things, of events, and you have not healed them, and they play in your head roundy round, you probably have had an increase of that as well. But then on top of it, all of this energy, and this is what I want to share with you, it's shaking things up. It's agitating. The best way I can describe it is that agitation cycle in the washing machine. It's shaking things up. It's bringing things to the surface that we are not completely happy with, and that we know or have known for some time, I should change that. I need to change that. But we haven't had the motivation to do it. And this is why I'm telling you this. This energy will not let up. This energy is meant to help us make a huge paradigm shift on this planet. It is meant to spark an awakening within people from what they haven't been able to see, their blind spots. You won't be able to see all your blind spots, but you'll be able to see some of them. And you have to take a step in that direction and not go into hiding, not go run from your issues. A lot of people are being triggered. Maybe you've been triggered. Maybe you've fallen into helplessness mode, survival mode, victim mode. I don't know. There's no wrong with any of this, and there's no right. It just is right now. And we have to learn, how do I cope with this energy, and what is it here for? It is here to eliminate the things that are holding you down. It is here to illuminate thoughts, emotions, events, circumstances that are holding you in place and caging you in your comfortable life. And we don't grow when we're comfortable. We grow when we're uncomfortable. So instead of running from this energy, complaining about what's happening, I'm going to ask you and invite you to lean into it. I know it's uncomfortable. I got my own stuff going on, right? Seriously know how uncomfortable it is. But if you can ride through it and lean into it and journal and allow what wants to be made aware of conscious, you have a chance at shifting and changing and building a whole new life. Like take a step, take another step. You have to change everything at one time. Growth and change doesn't happen like that. I have lots of people that come to me and they're like, yeah, I want to make more money. I want to change my health. And okay, we're not going to do that overnight. And I'd be lying to you if I told you it will happen overnight. Could it happen overnight? Miracles are possible. But if you're thinking that something outside of you is going to shift and change it, it won't happen. What has to shift and change is you, how you perceive, how you think, the emotions and the events and perceptions of those events that you're locked into. You've got to address the subconscious stuff running in the background. And for a lot of people right now, there are a lot of fears coming up that they didn't even realize they've been operating in, but they don't have the tools to shift through it. You have to find tools. I help people do that in my Charm Life program. And if that's something you're ready to do, it's deep work. And right now we are being asked to do inner work. Do the inner work. So however you do that, your shadow work, the dark work, the things that happen behind the scenes, where you have to dive deep and look at yourself and your habits, your patterns, your behaviors, your actions, and start to really look at, is this serving me? Is this not serving me? Is what I'm doing, is what I'm focused on, is the way I'm making a living, is the people around me, are they holding me up or are they holding me down? Are they holding me in place because they're unable to face their own stuff? At this time, with this energy is global, but it's individually, uniquely focused for each one of us. What I'm going through this energy on physical levels, because I had like my knee out of nowhere. And not the part of my knee where I tore my meniscus. Another part of my knee, just randomly, the back of my knee started hurting yesterday. And it lasted for like an hour. I was like, what is happening? And that just let me know there's some old stuff in there that needs to be let go of. There's some stuff that needs to heal in there. And I hurt my knee back when I was in my early 20s, so 30 something years ago. I hurt my knee in a horse accident. Now, I know the pathogens can hide behind the knee. That's one of the reservoirs for bacteria and viruses, sometimes parasites, sometimes fungus. But it didn't feel like that. It felt more like you've got some unprocessed stuff from that time in your life. And there's a lot going on when I tore my knee up and tore the tendon, the ligaments in the back of my knee. And that's, as soon as I nailed that, suddenly the pain just evaporated. The soreness just evaporated. And I was like, oh, okay, let's focus in on that and then begin to heal it. Bring it to consciousness and begin to heal it, because there was a lot of crazy stuff that was happening in my life at that time. It's stuff like that that's going to come up for you. Okay. It may be that you're triggered by your partner. It may be old arguments that were never fixed and were never resolved come back up. It may be that as much as you don't want to deal with conflict and you just want to back down, conflict is hitting your doorstep over and over again. And you're like, why is all of this conflict happening? I don't want to deal with it. Well, ask yourself, do you always run from conflict? Because if you do, you're not going to be able to right now. You're going to have to face it in a way that is authentic to you. Face it in a way where you can still maintain your loving being, kindness, compassion, but where you're expressing yourself. Every single person is being asked to express the things that have not been given a voice. For many of you, like all of my Charm Life people, if you were not allowed in any time during your childhood, if there were times when you were not allowed to express your true emotions, you were told little things like, don't cry. You were told, I don't care how you feel, go do what I want anyways. There's so many things as children that didn't make it safe for us to express our emotions, for us to express our anger, for us to express our sadness, our disappointments, so much that we suppressed and repressed. And those very things will kill you. I posted a video yesterday from Dr. Gabor Mate, who is an amazing guy and author. He's a doctor and a psychologist and very, very good research. And when I tell you, if you suppress things, you will kill yourself, it is proven. Do you know that they've done some research? Because there's this common thread with people with ALS. And people with ALS, there's this whole known thing, but it's not like in the diagnostics because it has nothing to do with the physical symptoms of ALS. But ALS is a mystery disease. And what they found is that the people that end up with ALS are people that are people pleasers, people that don't express their emotions, people that are super kind and they're really good people and everybody loves them. That's what they've found with ALS. If someone comes into their office and does a blood panel before the blood work comes out, a lot of times the staff will bet that one's going to have it. It's going to be positive for ALS. It's going to have the markers in the blood. Do you know why? Because you suppress, you create a ton of inflammation, autoimmune disease, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, all those things, cancer, suppressed emotions, unexpressed emotions, inauthentic living. And at this time, we are seeing a spike of all kinds of stuff like that. We're seeing a spike of anxiety, depression. Yeah, there's this whole other research project I was watching this morning. It's very interesting. I'll share it with you guys later in another video. And it was research done with mice. And the collapse of this mice colony, they did this whole experiment. And I'll share it with it later because sadly, it's mirroring what's happening on this planet with the lack of connection on the planet. And that's the other piece of this. This energy is coming in, and a lot of you are feeling like you want to connect. You want more human connection. But at the same time, you don't trust people. And at the same time, you've had bad experiences. Tell me if that's you. You feel like something's missing, especially since COVID. You feel like you want more depth to your relationships, you're tired of people just texting or just commenting on Facebook, but you never hear from them. They don't call you. You want deeper friendships. You want that sense of community and that sense of belonging, but you can't seem to find it. We're all being called back into connection right now. But to create connection, we have to work on ourselves. That's the other part of this blast of energy. So if you're feeling it, Cindy's saying, yes, that's me. Yeah, deeper connection. If you're feeling that call, but it's still not happening yet, understand that these huge, huge outpourings of energy that's hitting the planet right now are putting that desire, that longing in others, but they've got to work on themselves too. So do the work on yourself and begin to show up authentically so that you can connect to those who cross your path. Understand too. Same. Sandy saying same, want deeper connection. Yeah. Everybody does. I mean, most people do. And it's like we've lost the ability to communicate authentically and to connect. Thank you, social media. Thank you, instant gratification society. Thank you, COVID-19 lockdowns. And now the planet is resetting and the sun is helping us. The sun gives us life and the sun's energy is hammering us and it is illuminating all the things that need to be fixed, all the things that need to shift, all of the places where we are ran and hid and we're like, it's not comfortable. I don't know if I want to do that. You can't hide from this energy. Time is speeding up. That is why everything feels like, oh my God, months are happening in a week. And like you think, oh, it's only been a week. And you're like, oh my God, we're halfway through July. Hello. What happened? Wasn't it just December and New Year's? Like, where did it go? Very difficult to keep pace. And all of the illusions that are existing on this planet, whether they be systems of beliefs, thoughts, rules, authorities, they're all falling. They're falling. And for a lot of people, they have to have rules to live by because they don't have a moral compass, or they've suppressed themselves so much they don't know how to think for themselves. They don't know what they want. The worst thing about when I talk to people and people come to get my help, when I dial in, I mean, generally people are like, yeah, I want to make more money. Can you help me with that? The beliefs that are blocking me, the self-sabotage I'm doing. Why am I not making more money? Why can't I save more money? Why can't I, if I have more money, all my problems are solved. The funny thing is when I dial in with them, all right, why do you want more money? What do you really want? What's under all of that? Then suddenly all they can do is tell me what they don't want, and they don't know what they want. And I'm like, okay, tell me who you are. And they don't know who they are. What they know is I'm a mom. I'm a executive. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm, a doctor, a lawyer, an astronaut, whatever. Can be anything, but they don't know who they are. Those are identities and roles that we've taken on. That isn't the core of who you are. And right now, we're all being called forth to identify who you are. What are your values? And whose values are you living by? Whose programs are you living? Whose rules are you living? What approval are you seeking? And why? So much of our motivations are so messed up. And right now, that's all being exposed. So there's going to be some discomfort, uncomfortableness, discomfort. You're going to have to lean in. I said yesterday how I can't believe how fast this year has gone. It's funny because my 21-year-old, we were talking on the phone the other day. She was going somewhere and we were talking to how time's just, it's speeding up. And she goes, I swear, I thought it was just me. And I was like, no, Bella, it's everybody. She's like, it's real. The struggle's real. So it's like, I don't even know where the year has gone. Like, I don't know where the last 7 months have gone. And I'm right there beside her. And so is most people we talk to. Even my dad, he's like, he doesn't have a job. He stays home, but time is moving so fast. He's having a hard time orienting. I'm going to leave you with one of these things that Spirit is popping up right now. There's a lot of people that are going to check out. And that's not going to be comfortable. There's a lot of people that don't want to be here on the planet during this time, and they don't want to do that work. They're resistant to it. Some of them have done their work and they're just done. Right? We have to be willing to release whomever is not wanting to be here, whoever his job here on this planet of lessons is done. I've seen a lot with older people in their 80s, 70s, 80s, some in their 60s that are just like, I can't, I'm done. And there's no talking them out of it. So this is the other thing we're going to see. We're going to see it in plants. We're going to see it in animals. We're going to see it in people. And we can't, no matter how much we want to run from it, we can't. We can't run from it. We have to face it head on and process through it. One of the things that this energy is forcing us to do is to learn how to process old unhealed stuff, process whatever's coming up for us, process whatever is necessary in order to get to the other side of it. Why? So that you can be the best version of you. Thank God I have a hair appointment this weekend. My bangs are about driving me nuts. Sorry. ADD moment. So yeah, that is what's happening. If you're feeling moody and teary 1 minute and you're laughing your butt off the next minute, and then feeling erratic and energized 1 minute and dog tired the next, that is all part of this energy. Your body is going to have to acclimate. Some of you may be experiencing this thing where like food doesn't taste good. Food doesn't sound good. Nothing sounds good, but you have to eat. That could be, any of you going through that, by the way? Part of that could be that your body's wanting you to adjust your diet. With these higher frequencies, you've got to pay attention to what's going on in your body. And so many people that I work with who have had traumas, who've had chronic illnesses, the last thing they want to do is be in their body. So they pitch out, and you do not communicate with your body. You don't know what your body needs. You know when you're in pain, but typically you're not staying in body. You're like disassociating. You've got to pay attention to what your body is communicating right now. And this whole thing is the integration back into wholeness, body, mind, spirit, integrated. We cannot separate them. We just cannot. And unfortunately, on this planet, even in medicine, psychology, the mind is separate from the body. No, it's not. And then in medicine, it's all fragmented and fractured up too. You go to your primary doctor and he's like, let me send you to that specialist and that specialist, the foot doctor, the cancer doctor, the bone doctor. Like there's all, and none of them communicate with one another. Y'all notice that? Let alone the psychologist or the psychiatrist. Everything's fragmented. The eye doctor, the ear doctor, you just one body, one mind, it's all connected. What you think, how you feel, how your body is operating, how your organs are operating, it is one unit. We cannot separate it. We cannot. And when you take personal agency, personal responsibility for what's going on in you, your life, your body, then you have the power to do something about it. And that is what this energy is doing right now. It's amplifying everything to the extreme. And it is illuminating all the things that are not on the proper path for you, that are not in your highest good, so that you will do whatever's necessary to get on your path, to fulfill your purpose. That's the point of this, is get in alignment with what your purpose is. And your purpose is not the same as mine. And my purpose is not the same as the guy next door, or the girl next door, right? We all have a different purpose. Find that purpose, because when you're living your purpose, it's a passion, it's a calling, it's a joy. It's not just there to make money. And money comes much easier when you're living in alignment to your higher calling, to what you're meant to do on this planet. And I don't mean like you have to be some spiritual whatever and help people. You could be a milkman. Do they have those still? I think they did in Washington. But literally, you could deliver the mail and be on purpose. It's how am I showing up to deliver the mail? Am I bringing light to people's lives? Or am I just shoving mail in a box, bitching about my job? Lots of people are actually living their path, but they're not doing so from the pursuit of living their purpose and the meaning. And we have to pursue meaning in our lives to feel fulfilled. And so many people are not fulfilled. And that has become very obvious in this energy too. So if it's your circumstances and you're like, the dysfunctional people and toxic people in my life have just exploded through the roof and they're triggered and they're angry, guess what? It's a sign for you that if it's getting to you, you're personalizing it, that's not in your highest good. Learn the skills that you need to no longer personalize it, so that it doesn't knock you off of who you really are. And if you're not operating at your highest level, meaning connected to source, connected to your higher self, guided by intuition, fully whole and in your body, knowing what your body needs, knowing how you feel and being able to express that, then it's time to do that work. However you decide to do it. If you want to come do it with me or explore how we can do that, then message me. Otherwise, go find a way. And don't give up, because this energy will not let up. The more you can learn how to ride above it, rise above the illusion and all the murky, mucky garbage that's going on in the world, the faster you're going to see things move. And right now, the energy that is hitting us is allowing us to manifest very quickly if we are connected internally. And if we've dealt with our stuff. Like if we deal with our stuff and we're doing it consciously, things are going to manifest super fast on the positive. But if we're not, things are going to manifest and continue to magnify with momentum and amplify in the negative. So it's time to do our work. This is an amazing time to be alive. And I know it's scary for a lot of reasons, for a lot of people, because we were comfortable for a long time. But for the last few years, no one's been comfortable. Nobody's been comfortable. And I wish I could tell you guys, oh, it's going to go back to comfort. No, it's not. Change happens when we're all uncomfortable, and globally, everybody is uncomfortable. Does that make sense? I want to see you in the chat. Does it make sense? Does that help? Does that answer some questions as to what's been going on and how you're feeling? A lot of people are just trying to make sense of what's happening, and the ones that aren't conscious, that aren't connected spiritually, that aren't paying attention to energy. They think world, let me go check the news. They're not understanding what's happening, and they're losing their minds. It's scary to them more so because they don't know what's happening. It makes sense. Yes. Cool. All right. Good. I hope that helps. And you guys are welcome to share this video. It's on my page, so you're welcome to share it for whoever might need to hear this. This can be your time, though, and that's what I want to leave you with. We are at a powerful time that is calling all of us to live into, to lean into, and live into who we truly are. And humans, think about how you were at birth. Pure little soul, right? Emotionally expressive, screamed when you weren't happy, cried when you needed to be picked up, right? Didn't have a bunch of crazy beliefs. You were just here, curious, exploring, learning, growing. That is what we're being called back into. Empire Joy. First time here, it makes sense. Oh, welcome, welcome. So lean in, people. It's time to grow. There's no escaping right now. Like, if you are in resistance to truth, if you're in resistance to growth, if you are just like trigger happy, like people are just pushing your buttons and you're angry and you're reactive and then you're sad and then you want to hide and you're anxious and you're depressed and you've been to the doctors, and it's time to do the inner work. Okay? Time to do the inner work. It's not time to stay comfortable. It's not time to play small. And many of you are seeing all the places and all the ways that you minimize and play small, that you suppress your emotions, that you repress your emotions because you want to make everybody else happy. This is not the time for you to worry about what makes other people happy. This is the time to listen to what your higher self is calling you into being. This is time to stand in your power and rise up. And it may piss some people off, and that has to be okay with you. I would rather piss people off because they want to hold me down and I won't let them than please them by letting them cage me and not allow me to express who I really am. And I can do so in a loving way. I can do so in a patient way. I don't have to call you names. I have to be mad at you, but I don't have to put up with that. And so many of you that have been living your lives according to other people's wants and desires to the point where you feel lost. Those of you who have felt since you've been born and conscious enough to recognize that there's so much dysfunction. I know me as a child at 5 years old, I completely felt like I don't belong here. Like, this is not who I am. Like, how can this work? Like, my own mother was so dysfunctional. I'm like, I don't like it here. I don't like it here. I wrote in my book when I was 5, I wanted to be blind. I prayed. I'm like, God, I don't want to see this stuff. At least take my vision so I don't have to look at the ugliness. There's so much ugliness. You're so sensitive. And everyone kept saying, stop being so sensitive. You're overly sensitive. Toughen up. How many of you were told that? Toughen up. Boy, that's a program. Look at the world, the tough world of numbness, where everybody's got shells and armor on. Great program to live with. Toughen up. I had to accept and lean into my sensitivities and know and honor there's a reason they're there. There's a reason my body's sensitive to everything coming in, to everything in my environment. There's a reason that emotionally I connect at such a deep level that I cry, I laugh, right? I grieve. And the world always said, and I'm 56, the world always said, like, don't feel so sensitive, don't act so sensitive. How many of you went through that? And it made you feel like you don't belong here and you couldn't find your people. And maybe you're still looking. Some of you have found your people. Some of you have made connection, in groups, but now you're looking to do it in 3D, like in real life. I don't want it on Facebook. I don't want it in Zoom. I want it in real life. That's what most people are looking for right now. Hi, Miss Megan. Margarita is saying yes. Yeah. Well, guess what? you get to take all of what the world told you, that you're too sensitive, you're too this, you're too that. Calm down, hold it in, be a good girl, be a good boy, just please everybody. That stuff needs to come undone right now. And oh, it's uncomfortable, beyond uncomfortable. When you recognize I've lived my life to make everybody else happy and it's made me miserable. And then you're lost in the wild of, okay, how do I be me? How do I find me? How do I build me up? And how do I be me? That's the work we have to do right now. I went through that as a child, teenager, and an adult. Yeah, those programs. And so many people are living it still, and they don't even remember that they turn their feelings off, so they're numb. And they're tuned out. And they're out of their bodies. And they don't even know. They don't even recognize it. Some of you are just waking up to the fact that, holy crap, yeah, I've numbed myself, and that's my armor. I push people away before they can hurt me, and that's my armor. We're being asked to let down the armor. That weight of armor is so unbearably heavy. And all it's doing is hiding who you are. Not just from the world, from you. So time to step up, time to step in, time to rise up, time to grow. That's the time we're in. And all this energy that's hitting the planet right now, wave after tsunami, what it feels like, energy, it's pushing us, pushing us, pushing us. It gets easier as you pay attention in those moments. Oh, what am I doing that's not in alignment? For me, when I had the vertigo, like I said, I had to eat something heavy. I wasn't eating anything heavy enough to ground the energy out. I had to chill out. There was a couple things that I had on my schedule yesterday, like finish my accounting that I started over the weekend and ran into a glitch on QuickBooks because they updated something. I couldn't do it yesterday. No matter how much, like it was on my schedule, finish this. I could not do it yesterday. And every time I'd look at the computer screen, the numbers were going double. And I'm like, this is not. And I felt like I was on a boat. Like I couldn't find my balance. And I had to stop, had to take a break. As long as I was sitting in meditation, or I was sitting talking to spirit, or I was relaxing, it was fine. The minute I got pulled out of that, I would fall back out of the balance from a standpoint of I just, it felt like the world was moving. My body wasn't in sync. So if it doesn't matter what you're going through, like it matters. Yes. I'm not saying you don't matter. I'm saying it doesn't matter what you're going through. All of it is here for a purpose. And it's not here to hurt you. And it's not here to push you. It's not here to suppress you. It's here to get you to birth yourself in a new way, to rebirth yourself and create the strongest possible life on this planet. So you're no longer being kicked about by every circumstance and every trigger from every person who hasn't dealt with their stuff. It's time to do that work. And then you will lead. Even if it's just a small group of people in your life, you will become a leader. You'll become the light. You'll be the lighthouse. And that's what we're being called to do. Those of us who are being called forward and are heeding the call will lead the wave of what happens next. And lots that are going to need to happen. Doing the same old, is going to get real uncomfortable for people. So if it's your diet, change your diet. If it's your relationships, adjust your relationships. If you haven't been taking care of yourself and you are not setting boundaries and you're not making yourself a priority, fix that. Okay? If you need to exercise more because your body is craving health, circulation, more energy, go exercise. If you need to journal, do some shadow work, go do that. If you need support, community, therapy, go do that. Like, you know what you need. There is wisdom from within you that you may have just tuned out of, or maybe you just don't know exactly what the messages are because you're so busy all the time with one thing after another, and it seems like everything's urgent and everything's a crisis, and oh my God, by the end of the day, ready to collapse. Yeah, that's living in survival mode. That's not thriving. We're being called to step it up so that we can actually thrive, so that we're actually consciously creating our lives and what happens on this planet. That's the shift. Super exciting. Any questions? I'm going to go chill. It's late here. It's almost 10 o'clock. Feels like it's 7. Today's been crazy. Yesterday, I was dog tired. The energy just kept wiping me out. Today, I went shopping. I baked. All kinds of stuff. And I'm still ready to go. So no questions. All right. If you have any and you're watching the replay or something comes to you later, just go ahead and leave your comment and I will answer it in a future video if I can't answer it short in the comments and reply to you. I love you guys. I love you. Like, so much joy right now in what's happening, in what I'm seeing, because wow, there's a lot of unhappy people because they want to go back to the way things were. The way things were was not working. You guys have to be willing to admit that, right? Like, the way things have been, not working for everybody, only working for select few, and never consistently. This is bringing it to a whole new place. Thanks, Miss Megs. Sweet dreams to you too. All right, y'all. I will see you later. Have a good one.